My name is Mkhul'Nsingiza. Now, this platform is going to bob and weave its way through spirituality, our cultural elements, as well as, of course, celebrating our diverse musical colors that we have within this continent. From jazz to traditional, we take it way back, even to emaplazini. Sikhulume ngohadi, sikhulume ngemarimba, kanjalo. We'll bob and weave within it, speaking about, of course, issues that affect society as well. There's a lot of broken black families, and we're trying to just tie things back and go back in order to find ourselves, and hence the name Sankofa. I'm joined by Usibusiso Namhlanje, Usoihlahla himself, and of course we did let you know on Hustler's Corner some time ago that we are going to be working on something, and this is the platform, House of Sankofa. A word or two possibly, Usibusiso.
I think, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu, but Paul,
yes.
You've always been one of those diverse personalities in our country. For those who don't know, Paul was one of the most instrumental people in spearheading or igniting the hip-hop culture in the country, together, of course, with a whole lot of other people. But you guys, some of you guys who are my generation, would remember the Rapactivity Jam at YFM, where a lot of bands, a lot of rappers, a lot of careers were reignited or were ignited at the time. But also, Paul was also known for his love for poetry. You gave poetry a voice. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you were the first person in the country to have poetry on live mainstream commercial radio.
I would not suggest that. Possibly Wilson Bingosi, but he reads poetry, you know, from books and things of such nature. I think then we came in and we brought another element of just bringing about, our poets to say, perform. Into Zakola, and that's what I think resonated with people, because poets will come in live in studio and recite their poetry. So that's how we sort of brought in the element of poetry to radio, which was I think something very new. There'd been other elements, I say, where someone is reading someone's book or poetry, that someone has written, but it was the first time that poets, I think, come through and recite. So a very special time.
But you're also diverse, because you collaborated with the great legendary Oskido, and you guys had Rapactivity Jam, and a lot of the names that are now known as the hip hop legends in South Africa started their careers on your radio show.
Oh yeah, they did. Squatter Camp, Abu Amu, they came across. That way, Pitch Black Afro, I remember Hidden Force coming through from Etogoza. I think it was a fertile time and fertile ground in as far as that show, to be able to put on this young talent that was usually found on the streets doing what they call ciphers or freestyles. Gandhi Square is one place that I remember where they used to gather after school, especially on Fridays, and do these ciphers and freestyle. So once YFM came aboard, I think we were able to say, let's take it off the street, but still keeping it street. But asifakene emoyeni lento, nifafazele umlayezo now as abantu abasha. And I think it did a lot, in really bolstering this hip hop fraternity, to grow to the magnitude where you see hip hop artists now are just millionaires and multimillionaires. We had small steps, but those small steps in the beginning, I think they progressed to what we're seeing now within the hip hop fraternity.
But you've always been a very big part of youth culture, because not only poetry or hip hop, even drums like house music.
Yeah.
I know some of you guys who've been following Paul's career for a while.
Yes.
Yeah. Or even Black Coffee, Unati.
Yes.
His career. And guys, go check out the interview that I had with Black Coffee. The same day that I had an interview with him when we were setting the world record. By the way, we currently hold the world record for the longest music radio show in the world, which we invited Paul to come, for an interview. We had a chat. Go check out that interview and just listen to his story. But when we were interviewing Black Coffee on that actual world record experience interview with Black Coffee, actually even did mention the contribution of Paul when they were together at a label called Melts 2000, which was a very different label that was more focused on uplifting or making loud the African sound or narrative.
The Afro sort of tribal sound. And that's where I got to connect with the likes of Mabito Bejane, and I ended up touring Europe with Mabito Bejane for about 2 years. We did Europe, we did a bit of Asia, as well. Just touring as a combination. So I would play on the turntables and he would be on the drums. So at the farm there in Cullinan, you'd walk in and you'd find Unati, behind the production desk, working on something or working on a remix or a bootleg as well. And you would find Ubab Mabito Bejane on the other side with these drums. You'd find Umatala Gunene sitting in the corner there, strumming something. So it was fertile ground again for this sort of house tribal, progression as well, where we found ourselves there and ideas started flowing. Mel 2000, I think, was the label. But then within that stable, you could connect with other people, at such time, like Omam Busimhlongo, Otlokwesi Hume, they were well within that. And before they actually came through, they were in some studio in London for many years. No Moses Mulelekwa and things of such nature, where they just worked on music. Pops Mohammed as well, who's a multi-talented instrumentalist, who's only, I guess, South Africans who actually can pick up a kora and play the kora. You see the kora usually being played, in West Africa. So that Mel 2000 connection sort of really did a lot, and I'm happy to see, the heights that it's taken. I think Unati being DJ Black Coffee too, because he's always wanted to push the bar, and he's transcended, from those humble beginnings, to the electric tech kind of sound that he's, mesmerizing the world with.
No, it's been incredible. I'm very humbled. I think this is the most I will speak on this episode, seeing that this is a new podcast and collaboration.
House of Sankofa.
House of Sankofa. What does that mean? What is Sankofa?
Sankofa means to go back and retrieve, what you've left behind and come forward with it. It's a word mostly used in Ghana, to say, we shouldn't just be amiss of our heritage, that we in many ways left behind through colonialism, apartheid in South Africa. We must always go back, because that is where we are rooted, and retrieve, the essence of us, our own being, in order to move forward swiftly.
And we'll explain as the show goes on. But I'm very excited to be collaborating with my brother Paul, whom I've looked up to for many years. And even when my career was non-existent, when I started and wanted to be on radio, he was one of those people that really liked me, and he took a liking to me, and he said, no, it's cool, I'll invite you to my show. I was not working for Wife, and at the time he would give me an opportunity to come on the mic. And at the time we had dreadlocks. You're one of the people who was very spiritually inclined from an early age.
Yes.
And I just wanted to thank you for the contributions that you've had in the industry. I do know that you took a hiatus at some point. You were like, I want to get out of the public eye, which you did very well. Yes. And lately I've been pestering you to be like, man, come. Mm-hmm. And welcome back on radio. We're enjoying you on Radio 2000. And thank you very much. Let's get into it.
Thank you so much, Sibusiso. Hey, one nigga is Sibusiso. Mkhul'Nsingiza. Mkhul'Nsingiza. He's the founder of the GAC movement, Great Empire of Kemet. Monabakulu Basakem. He's as well a CEO of the Zinzi Mandela Foundation. And of course, me and him have had an association for many years, going back. In fact, Ngokufuneka aze ngakuthola.
Which year was that?
Which year was that? It must have been around 2013 or so, maybe 2014, where I finally reached out to Mkhul'Nsingiza. But doing great work at Skodlweni in as far as his work in spirituality and just activating the essence of our blackness as abantu abamnyama and trying to get to the essence of what we need to do to move forward in order for us to sikhululeke and be able to be self-sustained in a sense, because I think most cases sesibambe kakhulu towards this Western culture that has done nothing for us, but we still just sort of deteriorate into oblivion. Ngoba sikakazitholi. Mkhulu, yeah, it's a long welcome, but welcome to House of Sankofa.
Thokoza.
Mkhulu, ngifuna ukuthi silande le muva ukuthi Mkhul'Nsingiza kahle uba siyazi uphuma le emangwaneni ungwane uhlongwane.
Thokoza.
Umkhulu, the spirituality usithola kanjani? Why is he so I wouldn't say entrapped, but so into the essence of who Umkhulu is?
La iqale khona besiyiphilela just like anybody else.
Yes.
Senza what is normal during the time of apartheid. I then happened ukuthi we were somewhere with the unit bengisebenza nayo in Soweto.
Yes.
Underground.
Okay.
And during that day,
so we're talking politics, man.
Yes. Ngalimala. Mengilimala, then they took me to Epara.
Right.
Mengisepara lapha, ngalimala enyaweni. Mengilimele enyaweni bang operator lapha Epara.
Watutshula washawa ngetshe wagwaza kwenza kanjani?
No, kwaba ingozi yemoto. Yabona.
I see.
Yangibeke Epara. But mina I was affected.
Yes.
Unfortunately, some of the people, members of our unit, bese operator nabo, babanjwa ke on that day. Immediately ngene Para, they were then arrested.
Right.
The next morning, mina ngibona nje ngamabhunu aseprotea ngena, idlakela zamabhunu. And ngibhalise ngegama wrong la. Because I knew vele ukuthi we are on the run and basifuna. Bafika nje sebethi ubhalise ngale gama wena nali gama lakho. So I knew ukuthi sekunjalo. Then ngazinikela ukuthi if kumele ngiye protein. Ngahlala ke lapha abalokhu abazandagadi for some time. Guthi ke the day kumele ngiphume, I think it was a day before I was supposed to be then released because ngangifake isamende.
Okay.
I was supposed to be released. Kepha manje lamabhunu azongithatha to Proti directly. And the unit I was operating with, bokumele bafike at 7:00 p.m. bazongitshontsha ngebhamu. Beza ngaleso sikhathi because it's not busy.
Bakutshontshe ejele?
No, esibhedlela.
I see.
Because I was under
guard in hospital.
Mengibona u7 uyashaya bafiki. Ngibone u9 uyashaya bafiki. Kuthe la mese ngilungiselela ukulala. I remember it was 12 o'clock.
Right.
That's why even today I respect 12 o'clock. Because by then I was still ignorant of zonke lezinto zomoya. Senza zonke lezinto esizenzayo but not infusing umoya lapho. I remember ngithi ngenza inkulumo kumveli nqa ngithi uma ufuna ngiyejele kusasa, I'm ready ngiyejele.
Yes.
Kepha mawufuna ngiphume la kusasa ngiyekhaya mina. It was 12 o'clock, I remember. From lapho ngalala. The next morning, angazi kwenzekile magic. This guy began ngadile la. mengiphaphama mina akekho manje kungabo past 6 ekseni to 7
Right.
labantu bokumele bafike ngo7 ntambama izolo naba sebegcwele iward imoto bayipake la ngaphandle ngiyazi ukuthi baphethe ibhamu labantu labo so ngibuze ukuthi manje nifika ngalesikhathi kanjani because if something happens yolimala abantu abaningi
Right.
bathi sichekile besiloko siscout yonke all this time the ward iphoyisa eligadayo alikho
So we took this chance.
bangene vele sebengena neimpahla ngingeneke elenduzeni ebathroom lapha ngishintshe mengishintsha ke sesiyaphuma unese usister bekegade iward abuzeke hlongwane kwenzakalani
Yes.
ngisho ngithi hayi cha angithi nganitshela ukuthi ilo izoyilungisa lento seyilungile sengiyahamba akunaphoyisa asazi nathi what happened to le phoyisa leli belingigadile how siphumeke la ngithi ngiyobamba umnyango wemoto khona kuqhamuka iphoyisa elizo replace leli belingigadile the whole night
Right.
angimemeze ekhoneni ukuthi ehlongwane uyapi ngithi hayi seyilungile lento
Bathi ngihambe.
athi uphike lo muntu lo bekegadile
Yeah.
ngithi hayi uqeda ukunyuka khona manje elephezulu that's how I escaped
Oh wow.
ngangena emotweni
You
sahamba
were gone.
the very same night bafike ekhaya kunezindlu ezimbili eOrlando la ngikhulele khona
Yeah.
nenye indlu kababa eDube bafike eOrlando kubokunosisi wami lapha bafaya amabharaklava bavurvaya bafika nale ekhaya eDube bavurvaya ngifoneke mina later sengifonela ubaba
Yeah.
you know ngiyamtshela ukuthi hayi ngiphumile mina lapha ngisendaweni so kwazi yena kuphela lapha ngikho because we're on the run how ubaba athi ungasondeli nokusondela labantu mebengakuthola ufile
Bafa ngawo.
so gimme ke wena khehla during you know that night ngaphupha elinye iphupho elangimangaza because ngiphupha ngathi ngibona omunye umama
Yeah.
umama ngathi kusesikolweni but isikolo sakhona ngathi abantu bagqoke izinto zasesayoni iziyoni
Yes.
yabo and le ndawo le ngiyibone quite clearly you know la iphushweni ukuthi ingasesikolweni lendlu le iopposite isikolo but ngingakunaki ukuthi we umuntu ophethe ozolungisa indaba zakho
Yeah.
yilo mama angimazi nokumazi lo mama underground under ilentuza imovement
Yes.
kwavunyelwana ke kwaba neblanket amnesty
I see. You were able to then come back.
I was then able to come back home
Yes.
after that period
Right. But ke lela phupho, kusho ukuthi lela phupho bese likufaka emoyeni ke.
lingifake emoyeni at that time because liyangihlupha
Yes.
ngihlutshwa ukuthi lo mama ngiyomtholaphi lo mama lo okuthiwa huyo phethe indaba zakho so lingihluphe and manje mina as much as lila emqondweni kepha ngiyaziphilela ngiyaqhubeka ngempilo
Yes.
ngihleli ke one day lapha ekhaya kufike ifriend yami ithi sihlale ke siplome you know most of the time of the afternoon kuthi makufika ulentuza towards 6 o'clock
Yes.
athi hey you know ngicela ukuhamba mina ngizokubona later ngithi hawu ndoda uyapi athi hayi ngisayenkonzweni hawu so yasonto wena I was shocked ukuthi hey ndoda so yasonto wena and then igama lakhe uziro enye Ibrahim nje besiphila naye lapha eLand
Yes.
ngimangale ngithi hawu ndoda so yasonto
Yeah.
athi ya ngiyasonta ngithi okay usonta kuphi athi hayi indawo lephezulu ngasema ground hawo ngibe ne-interest ngasema groundini ubani ke lo onholayo
Yes.
athi omunye umama ngithi umama kubuyele lapho upholeni you understand
Yes.
make I describe le ndawo it's exactly le ndawo engayibona ngisebhayi ingasesikolweni and umama ngithi ne man angisali ngihamba nawe first time nama well sikhule sisonta sonke because mawungasoni bofaka induku waye ungayisontweni kepha mengikhula sengihlakaniphile ngayiyeka yonke leyo it was for the first time again nginyathela endaweni la kuvulwa khona iBhayibheli.
So mofika lapho mkhulu, what do you find there? What happens? Do you see this woman?
Mengifika lapho
recognize her?
Ngiyamrecognize lo mama lo. And manje mengibuza kuthiwa no la this is not the church akulona isondo leli isikolo sempilo. And mengifika lapha ile lamasonto leli kahle ile sonto leli elaziwe ngokuthi isonto lesiphiri. You know, lesphiri. Yeah, mawungena lapha unikezwe ipaki. You know, zomoya, but it's based on Christianity yonke lento.
Right.
Yes, abantu abaningi would understand isonto lesphiri.
I see.
Kuthiwa no asisonto leli ilentuza isikolo sempilo somoya.
Somoya.
Ngibe ne-interest ke. Mengena ke lapho ke wena khehla ngangena. You know, kuleyo ndawo leyo nami sengiregular because every Wednesday besenza ishiso yonke lento, you know, the way kwenziwa ngakhona. But what interested me ukuthi they were mixing bahlanganisa iBhayibheli namasiko.
So it's something similar to what you know we would see Goshembe kanjalo.
Oshembe yes. But abahambelana namasiko ngoba oshembe badiscourage ukuhlaba. You know, mawusekhaya kahle kwaShembe kuthiwa thabatha tshela amadlozi akho ukuthi ayaphuma la endlini uyowafaka lapha kaShembe.
I see.
It's not something like that. Lapha ke besipractice ukuthiwa kuyahlaba uvuke nephupho ukuthi uyomele uhlaba imbuzi uhlabe lokho sikwenze lokho. Do you understand? Kepha kuqhutshwa nale Bible. Do you understand? I think that is the place that gave me foundation because that is when I started questioning yonke into.
Right, the system.
The system Bible myself because I would then be asking imibuzo. You know, ngifuna ukwazi mina ukuthi kungani lokho
ubuza lo
bona baholi la elentuzeni esontweni kusho ukuthi indawo kahle ngayicredita with developing or giving me foundation of spirituality because I was then able ukuthi manje, you know, I was able to discern ukuthi kahle you know umehluko ungakubi.
Yes.
Yes siyalenza usiko lwethu ngapha kepha kungani sixuba neBhayibheli ngoba iBhayibheli kimi it's like it's a foreign thing.
Yes.
You know namagama strange na yonke into strange ngithi abo Jesu abo David ngithi manje ngihlangana naphi nalabantu laba
ukhona eBhayibhelini
ubani uArthur angazi kungenzeka ukhona wena cash kungenzeka ukhona
ama engine number lo muntu ngisebenzisa
so ukuquestiona kwami ke wena cash kwaqala lapho. Also just development yomoya lento okuchiwa umoya. I then started understanding ukuthi kahle thina asiyona inyama, we are spiritual beings having this earthly experience. You know, steering kahle emntwini ilo umoya and when you labor for umoya nothing goes wrong you know in your life.
And I presume at that stage then you just almost took your own path in a soul searching, I guess, journey.
Oh no.
Yokuzithola uthole nomoya.
No, certainly.
Wakho.
Uzwa kehla. Le ndawo bengibuya yikho ngithi I credit it because inginikeze a foundation of my spirituality.
Yes.
Ngaqotshwa. Sengifaka amakotoki la amhlophe la ekhanda. Namajazi amhlophe ubopha amabhanda bomvu la. Ngangena was a full member yaleyo nto le.
Right.
You know leso isonto lesiphila.
So benilanga mhlambe ngalo moya neziwasho kanjalo mokhuluma amabhanda.
Ukuphasa.
Iwasho zibakhona mo.
Zibakhona yeah uyazi ke ba amabhidane bakuthungela amabhidane ubophe all over okhalweni enyaweni yonke indawo you understand.
Yes.
So every Wednesday we would meet mesihlangana ke every Wednesday kuba nemibono evelayo like his prophet.
Yes.
You know that was the reason. Ushayiwe isigubhu, that's another thing I love. You know, sivusa lo moya, then abantu ke who are talented and gifted emoyeni bakhulume ke indaba zabantu. Now during that process uyakhona ukuthi ubeke inkulumo yakho ukuthi wena yini kahle kahle lo oyidingayo empilweni.
Yes.
I remember, you know, one time it was before I got married. Ngilapha vele esontweni ngasukuma ngathi hey mina sengikhulile manje bengicela banginikeze bangilethele umlingani umuntu engizophusha naye impilo.
Yes.
And ngayishiya kanjalo. You know, then miracles happened when I cash.
Wahlangana nendlovu.
Amen. Kehla.
Oh, look at the smile. Yini uThabo?
Amen.
I'm cool.
Unexpected.
Yes.
What happens ukuthi my brother was the head ye VIP security. Ye president Bob Mandela.
Yes.
He was the head of that.
Yes.
Guthi ke mekebuya because they were from exile. Ukubuya kwabo kulenda kwabo la. This was the first group who came to defend the leadership.
Sure, as VIP protectors.
As VIP, you know, and then you know they came here. You know, most of them bebengaphetanga ibhamu zonke lento lebazo gada ngeminwe wela amabhunu asikhohlisayo baba ngabela ibhamu ke bazo gada inkokheli.
Story of our lives, always being eluded.
Then ke thina la ekhaya senza umsebenzi for my brother, my elder brother. We had two members of the family who were in exile. My sister is still alive. My brother, lo ngumlandelayo, yena sekeshonile. But my sister, you know, she's still alive. She was married to Cassius Make, who was the commander of Umkhonto wesizwe, you know, in exile. Before Gubu la.
Yes.
Then senza umsebenzi, you know, for mfowethu ukuthi we are welcoming back, introduce again le mathuneni, you know, obaba you know mama malume to the whole rest of the family ukuthi usebuyile.
Yes.
Kulo msebenzi alethe aze nendlovukazi uzinzi
iqhamuka
indlovukazi mina when bengumbona emaphepheni sihlangana once in a while uyazi la ebumnandini, you know, just once in a while but ingamazi.
Okay, from a close proximity.
Yes. I know meke khona ke sambe naye emathuneni yonke, then the next thing you know ntambama, I think it was Ntambama later.
Were you already smitten from Ematuneni? Were you already smitten?
Ngizokutshela.
By kumbona.
No, ngizokutshela. I'll tell you a story somewhere you Ndlovukazi uzinzi. When I was visiting my family in exile, you know, I would meet most of, you know, the guys who were EVIP protection leadership.
That side. Yes.
That side.
Yes.
He was part of that group, my brother.
I see.
So, mengivakashile lapha, one of, you know, the incidents I was in Zambia, ngivakashile lapha, they were playing a clip of Ndlovukazi uzinzi when she was delivering his speech sakhe.
As a young girl, I think.
Yes, my father said.
16 or something, yes.
That moment, ngibona leya clip.
Powerful speech.
Ngaphakathi,
yes.
I claimed her. I said, that's the woman I'm going to marry.
What about it, Jeff?
Angahlangani nayo.
Yes, but
into ngayikhuluma ngaphakathi. Mengimamela lesa speech sakhe.
Yes.
I said to myself, that's the woman I'm going to marry. Well, ke konke ke lokho kwenzakala njengoba sekeza manje sekeza nomfowethu.
Yes.
Ekhaya senzela umfowethu umsebenzi. Kuthi ke you know ntambama umfowethu usebusy la. Then ke mina I had, because besebenzisa imoto eyodwa, I had to transport her back home.
Okay.
You know, and sayishiya kanjalo. Sayishiya kanjalo leyo nkulumo wena Khehla.
Azange uthi chance wathi ukufaka amasaka.
Cha bekehamba no khona ulenduza. Lo mama lo ugcina umdlwembe uxolise ubani? Xoliswa.
Yes.
Yeah, the one who ended up betraying a family. You know, bekehamba naye, so beng respect umuntu omdala.
Yeah.
You know, but kwaba nje naleyo nto le chemistry. But nothing was said.
Okay.
You know, yadlula ke lo period.
Meeting kanjani?
Injalo. And they will never call each other and nothing happened. Then again, amalanga ahambe wena Khehla. You know, kuthi one day, I remember being clearly endlini. You know, but the previous day, yikho ngithi umoya is very powerful and strong. The previous night ngiphupha ngathi ngihlangana na somebody, and lo muntu the way amuhle ngakhona ngibuke yonke into. I remember into that was so prominent.
Yes.
Imilenze
imhlophe qhwa kwehlabathi zokani.
Ngivuka ngithi hey man cool. Lo muntu lo nemilenze emihle kangaka. Ngiyomtholaphi ubani?
Sikade unesibindi mkhulu.
You want to angazi phela mina.
Yes.
And ufake something ngathi into yesikolo. Do you understand?
Such dress.
Isiye ku expose ke lemlenze yakhe. Manje lento lengivuke ngijabulile ngale phupha, kepha ngithi hey I wonder ngizohlangana nini kanjani
nalilenze ndini ngiyokuthola nini.
Enjalo. Then there was what is called the first ANC Youth League rally in Orlando East. The first one, maybe Buye Exile. That is when, you know, they hosted Lape Elenduzeli. You know, and Nakona, ngifuna ukuya, but I'm not interested, you know, because ngihleli lapha nenxusi.
Okay.
You know, my second born uSizwe. Sihlelele lapha ekhaya, you know, sirelaxile. Kube nento ethi awuke uhambe uyochecka ama comrade lapha stadium. I know, make arrangement la endlini ngiyabuya khona manje. How? You won't believe. Mengena nje stadium.
Yeah.
Mengiceda nje ungena le gate le stadium, sengibhekene manje ne yabona le drive through.
Yes.
Through stadium.
Yes.
Indlovukazi angazi be uNdlovukazi uzinza angazi ukuthi bekesuka kuphi from lapho. Kepha mengena sahlangana ngamehlo. Mina ngitshela nje ukuthi ngiyohlalela ezitendini.
Yes.
Hayi no angamukele hey so hayi ngena sihleli lapha elentuzeni phansi estadium
imlenze awusayenza
ishilo lapho kahle sembeke i-reception
yes
this is what touches me now
right
i-reception engiyithola unexpectedly
eye connection man
ukuthi manje uyongifaka ku VIP area and I wasn't expecting that.
I see.
Hi, was a comrade ngapha so sesiyangena la siyalapha ku VIP area. How lapha anginese uyazi wena khehla inhliziyo yami yaba mhlophe there was not even a need for me ukuthi hey ngithi dudlu there was no need
that
for
connection.
That connection
sorted itself out.
It was so powerful. It was so powerful and strong. And from that day, you know, we went to an after party. And I remember, you know, Samba and my comrades. Siyagu after party yake, I think it was indawo kaLunga Williams, a friend yethu.
Yes.
Went to visit him.
The flamboyant broadcaster.
You know, yes.
Smart
Went
dress.
to visit him.
Always.
We went to visit him, you know. Then from lapho uthando lwethu lwaqala kanjalo. Yikho mina, you know, a lot of people never understood. Even now, they don't understand the relationship yami neNdlovukazi uzinza. Ukuthi sahlanganiswa umoya. Yingakho to the end.
Yeah.
You know, we'll always be together. I know namanje she's always with me. No mangeko physically, you know, but you know, from that day, she was my confidant. She was my everything. Ayiko into bengikhulu. Mina I'm a very secretive person.
Yes, of course.
Angmane ngikhuluma nobani.
And I think you know, for a lot of us, this is the first time we're hearing, you know, this kind of love story from Mkhul'Nsingiza. And thank you for opening up Lagwe House of Sankofa Mkhulu.
No injalo ngithi Sankofa. Silande move. Ukuthi lento isuka ku.
Sibuya nayo.
Esamba nayo. Esiya nayo phambili. Isuka le move wena khehla so.
Yes.
You know, for the first time, you know, to experience true love.
Yeah.
You know, when you say ukuthi you've met your soulmate. You know, I didn't have to be near Indlovukazi uzinza. I can be anywhere. Mina naye connection. And besifunda nomqondo.
Yeah.
Sometimes you know ngiphimisele lento la. Athi hawu nami bengicabanga kanjalo. You know yebo. Uma kuhlangane and sothola ukuthi even spiritually. I represent the southern marker. She represents the northern marker. Do you understand? So it means ukuthi she was a true soulmate of mine. You know, yingakho namanje nje, you know, yonke into engiyenzayo ngiyenza with bravery. Engazi ukuthi, you know, ngayithola kuye. Bravery engayibona Ndlovukazi uzinzi no mamuwini ava into engenza mina not to be shaken.
Yes, you are fearless
into engenza ukuthi ngingasabi lutho ngingasabi nokufa because if le Ndlovukazi can go through what they went through and still survive, you know, and still hold that head you know, up high. So that's where, you know, this heart, you know, this heart of a lion, you know, because to develop this heart of a lion so that you are able to change izinto okumele ishintshe.
Now a lot of royal families or a lot of leadership type of families don't easily approve of, for lack of a better word, a commoner.
falling in love with them.
Coming into the midst of them, yeah.
Yeah. Didn't you experience any resistance, mhlawumbe, from, may his soul rest in peace, uTata Madiba, noma ugogo wethu, umamwini Mandela, may his soul rest in peace as well? Or maybe just from the leadership or from other politicians who were around them as a family?
I did. A lot from uTata. And I understood ukuthi nami, if I was in his position, I would feel the same way. Indlovukazi uZinzi was the apple of uTata's heart. There uTata comes out of jail. In no time, indodakazi yakhe seyashada. Do you understand?
Ishada nalo hlongwa.
Hey man, lo hlongwane.
Mbahlo ufuna
Akaziwa nokwaziwa lo hlongwane. So that is the quality endlovukazi uZinzi. uZinzi was that person ukuthi ufita in all areas of life.
Yes, Mkhulu.
uZinzi besihlala phansi naye sidla amagunyane atsha. uZinzi sihambe siyodla ama-prawns and everywhere sihlangane nabantu aba-different. So indlovukazi that was rooted ebuntwini. She had ubenenye inhliziyo. So to answer you, yes, I experienced that a lot, but I didn't let that affect me because I understood ukuthi uTata la ekhona emqondweni ukuphi.
Yes.
Do you understand? So besides the other members of the family who would say ubani lo, Tina, we are the first family. Ubani lo kanti ngiza mina ngalo moya negazi lobukhosi. Ngingena ebukhosini nami ngibuya ebukhosini. So abantu didn't understand zonke lezo zinto lezo.
Wangena ungwane shiqi.
Shiqi kahle. And kepha umuntu nanamhlanje if beke saphila bengizomfela umamwini. Umamwini. I would say ukuthi she replaced my mother. I was okay to say I lost a mother ngisemncane, kepha umamwini just filled up that gap. Umamwini never treated me like umkhwenyana. Wangitreata as umntwana wakhe, a son.
Yeah.
So zonke lezi zinto bezilokho zikhulunywa ngaye ngizibuza ngithi labantu bayamazi umamwini because mina ngeexperience uthando and nothing else. There was a time whereby even kwamina izinto were terrible. Remember ukuthi after 94 I was the first person to establish a black-owned asset management firm. We did a joint venture with a company, number one asset manager in the US, Franklin Templeton, to form Zamani Asset Management here, trying to conscientize labantu laba who are sitting in positions of power, kulama pension funds,
right,
to say, let us redirect this money, ama pension fund, into our own communities.
Sure.
Because le imali lezi ama pension fund zidevelopable sentence, zidevelopa zonke le ndawo zabelungu.
So let's have
and the majority of this pension fund, ama contribution are from black people. No, abantu, they were not in that frequency at the time. Bebesemnandi, iproximity yabo nabelungu, baqala ukuhlangana nabelungu, ukwenza ama decisions nje is just difficult. And the worst, it was a bad con. Umamwini na kuthathwa ile ilima lezi. Can you imagine a freedom fighter umtreke into a court umtshele ukuthi wenza fraud ngokunceda abantu bakhe? That Sambo loan.
Yes, I remember.
Yes.
Sambo
yes,
some sort, yes.
That Sambo loan.
Yeah.
Iyo letter downfall yami. Do you understand? We had 3 offices, like Cape Town, Jozi, Nasedeben. Yeah, since the asset management.
You were functioning asset management.
Oh no! I was. It was Yaziwa because the first black-owned company. But iputalam, futhi ngeke ngithi iphutha. Into eyenzeka ukuthi ngabonakala ngabhalwe emaphepheni ukuthi yimi who paid the bail for umama for that Sambo thing. That was the downfall of my life.
And the system didn't like umama.
Never. Even some of they didn't want anything to happen to do with umama.
So the mere fact that your name was there as the one who bailed her out.
Yes.
You had to.
I was then, a person who should never be dealt with.
Blacklisted
completely from government. All doors that you try and open are closed. I didn't care. I didn't mind because ngikhule nje ngelenduza ikhabishi lapha nezambane eliphuma lapha ensimini. Ngathi I will rebuild myself. Yaqhubeka impilo. But what I'm trying to say ngomamwini, even during those times, I didn't have to say anything.
Yes.
Ube umama ubazi. Yena she would come and let her grocery. She would come as she has something which I know. Please, qhubekani ngempilo. I understand ukuthi izinto they are still there, but so umamwini njengoba ngisho ungithethe njengomntwana wakhe. A lot of at some point I truly was dependent on uncedo oluvela kuye because there was no income at all. So mina uthando lwakhe ngiyalwazi. And struggle sakhe ngiyasazi ukuthi umamwini there was a point whereby we're all supposed ukuthi simflathele. And say we don't want to do anything. We don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah.
But it was myself nozinziphela. Myself nozinzi who stood there said, "Hayi mamwethu lo. It doesn't matter ukuthi siyahlupheka kwenzakalani but sizofa naye ngoba siyazi ukukhuluma iqiniso meke batshela ukuthi the way nenza ngakhona you are selling our people."
No, Julius, ngathi uthanda nalo uthando.
Bamthuka all these midlwembe le lokhu ithukana nomamwini la emaphepheni. Aba ayingane zibiza inhlamba zithuka umamwini. But we knew ukuthi yilabantu who are already captured. And uzwake umamwini we knew ukuthi if wena uzala from states. Uzala or from anywhere else. And awubuzi ngomamwini. To us, you were already
a
sellout because we are associated. A true leader like Ufarakan. Ufarakan, when he came here, he came and visited to Mama. That's the first person I'm born.
Right.
Uguti, there's the true liberator there. Do you understand? Remember, Umamwini was fighting against organization yake that was already, co-opted into the system. And Ulwisa Namapun. So there was a lot of, a load on the shoulder, and there were very few people, that were there for umama. Ungababon baloko ba kuluma manje, umama wa. But when it comes to in reality, they were not there. Very, very, very few people. That's why Uzinzi, I will always respect her. She never betrayed the mother. Even when a good association no mamwake is making things difficult for her in her own life to a point she can't pay rent. Do you understand? But she stood firm and so
I mean, these sentiments that you are putting out, I mean, I was about to say earlier, someone like Julius talks of, about such. It's almost like it comes from a personal place. Now Julius Muza ekhuluma ngomamwini, ekhuluma ngendlovukazi uzinzi as well.
Oh no, sure. Julius thina simazi during indaba ze Kosas.
Yes.
During presidency yakhe Kosas. Kwenzeka ukuze mina personally ngihlangane naye lo mfana lo. It was we were assisting them. You know, because they had lentuza benza ilentuza imarch and manje bamoshela labantu laba bathengisa estradini bathatha izinto zabo yonke lento omama badala. We then spoke nozinze ukuthi nomama ukuthi no we need to then call uJulius ukuthi aqolise publicly for lento abayenzile. You know, it was a genuine cause lebe beyilwela, but lento yenzakele during that time it was wrong. You know, we arranged that nozinze. I remember that first conference, it was Lapel Tuli House, you know, where we called the media lao Julius waxolisa khona. So uJulius ukhula vele under the arm kamama. You know, that is why even today usa repeat that sentiment, you know, beyilokhu ikhulunywa umama.
Yes.
You know, I know him from there. So noma ayingena ke manje sekuba president ye ANC Youth League. You know, when he started, we called him, nozinze, hey, come, let's sit down. You know, and the tina simbiza nje with an idea ukuthi sifuna ukuthi kube leader ye Youth League that will be different from the rest of the leadership Youth League. You know, sit okay, no, we'll be there to as a backup for you in terms of anything, in terms of content and anything that you might need. Sure. But that never happened.
Okay.
But life
yaqhubeka life was wahlanganisa eyakhe into. But let's get into spirituality. I think enough about politics. Mkhulu nothando, although uthando lunande isibusiso uyalibona ikhehla abalikhuluma nje endlovukazi aphuma wonke amazinyo emlonyeni.
I guess every man, right?
Yeah, every man
and every woman.
Yes,
love is a special thing.
This is of course Sankofa with Mkhul'Nsingiza, the founder of the great empire of Kemet, and of course CEO of the Nzinzi Mandela Foundation. Spirituality, I mean, I think last time we were all together, Hustlers Corner. I was relaying the story, just as I would imagine now, wafuna umkhulu Credo mutwa waze wamthola.
Sure.
Tell us about that search and how you start tapping into this kind of consciousness that leads you to now be a student. Sagabab Credo Mut.
Oh no, that development happened because of a discussion that I had. You know, because by the way, in Ndlovukazi, before we even got married,
yes,
bese samba sonke kule sonto lesipiri.
Yes.
Na seku umajefro sekeshazona.
I see.
But now, quest for more knowledge, you know, was always there because we were never satisfied.
Yes.
You know, Uguti, what we are being given in terms of Bible and all that, we believe, Uguti, there's something more. You know, Oksamele say it all. A breakthrough gimme comes in where I have a discussion no mamwin. Yes. She tells me, hey, Mkhulu, do you know how obsessed uzinzi with Tutankhamun? Ukula from the age of 8-9 uzinzi obsessed nje Tutankhamun, everything, every picture, uze une necklace.
Yes.
Lefakwa lekhanda with something dangling la.
Okay.
So that's the story she then relates to me, Umamwin. From there, I then started to research about Egypt. ngaqala lapho wena Cash
ukuthola kahle the great
ukuthola kahle because of
yes.
my interest ngizibuza ukuthi sihlangana phi ne-Egypt.
Yeah.
Why was uZinzi so obsessed ile Egypt? Do you understand?
From a very young age.
From a very young age.
Yeah.
This is what Mama tells me. I then, we go on yonke into into the development of my spirituality. I wasn't alone. I was with Indlovukazi. She was there, even, with us, going to Ubaba, we were together, because we okokuqala, umuntu that truly, assisted us in terms of liberating the mind.
Yes.
It was Farrakhan.
Okay.
We went to the US. I remember went to the US. Mesfika lapha US sithola ukuthi there is some media story where the daughter of Malcolm X is accusing Farrakhan of having murdered Malcolm X.
Aibo.
It's all over the internet, yeah.
Yes.
It's everywhere, yeah.
Kuna leso story. Do you understand? Now sibe interested, who is this Farrakhan? I know, sitolege, little bits about Farrakhan. But manje, what drove us to that energy of Farrakhan? His boldness. We saw him as a true leader of black people. Because Farrakhan, there he is in the US on his own, challenging the might of the US. Do you understand? On his own. Farrakhan, when we study him, Farrakhan uhlanganisa bodaki. Do you understand? What creator is sustainability amongst the community of black people. Imali is circulator amongst them. We were so drawn up to that. Ukuthi lo muntu can be so vocal about issue nje yomuntu omnyama.
Yes.
As much as beke push up both Islam ne Christianity in terms of explaining our spirituality.
Yeah.
But what we were attracted in by boldness yakhe.
Yeah, to be able to set this up.
To set this up.
Manage it.
Yes. We said Tina. We are in the majority kaya. Yini into esihlulayo ukuthi senze lento Farrakhan ayenzayo la eAmerica under very hostile conditions.
So you thought leadership in Africa really wasn't doing half what
no. For me,
yes.
For me on the continent there was no leader. Because I saw all of them, being people who are afraid to speak the truth. And they're umuntu ngaphandle.
Yeah.
He's able to be bold and challenge America for what they are doing, towards the black people.
One would argue
those people I had already, researched them, all of them were not an inspiration for me, because these are people, who agreed to work and perpetuate the system yabelungu. So for me, it was you see, when you talk about a revolution, if you say you are a revolutionary, you can't then go half the journey and say you are a revolutionary. When you say you are a revolutionary, it means usuka la from this point and you come back to this point. So there was no revolutionary on the continent because umhlaba wathathwa emakhosini nasemakhosikazini.
Yes.
So therefore, no country on the continent returned it back to where it was taken.
So in essence, your gripe is that African leadership presided within republics that were already set up by colonial forces.
It's still my gripe even today.
I see.
Yonke lento yenzakalayo ngalama republics on the continent ubutsotsi ubugebengu obuperpetuator iprivilege yabelungu and disadvantages abantu. Remember ukuthi umhlaba wethu iwealth yethu that was stolen is hidden under this Republic of South Africa ngale constitution okumele ngabe iyadatshulwa.
But it's the best in the world.
Never.
South Africa has the best constitution in the world.
If amampunga nje lawo nakhetha ikho, there's no best. If this is the best constitution, why bangayo ilentuza baya adopt le Europe? Go to London, go to Israel. You could never find umSuthu occupying umhlaba wama British. You can never find Evander occupying umhlaba wama Juda le Israel. So why is it okay for us? Ukuthi nje we just give in and say, okay, master, we are not going to disturb your privilege. We are here to manage. It was a conscious decision because this thing that I'm signing on, because each and every president signs on something, republic, it represents queen is the head of that country. And moreover, you have degrees. Back training to professor yaloku, doctor yaloku. How can you be 20? That is so simple.
Is that the reason why every person that becomes a president here, Queen le England by your reporter, noma mhlabe by your kotam?
Oh no, that's the reason. That is the reason. That is the reason. Baya lapha ku Queen, all of them. When they go and report to the Queen, which I'm not going to touch the Constitution, because when you touch the Constitution, you are then removing the powers of the Queen. Do you understand?
Elizabeth.
Yebo, Queen Elizabeth law.
Elizabeth
inkinga wena kehla is the source of evilness perpetrated upon all Africans, because there's no country that escaped that on the continent. All countries where you see a republic, that country or land belongs to the Queen. No president has a right to do what they want to empower their people with without the authority of the Queen. As an example,
is South Africa a republic, Gonj?
It is a republic.
So
no,
as an example.
As an example, Amapunu were not the owners of the land. The land was, owned by the Queen. That is why Amapunu were just managers. They could never do anything. Any drastic step they had to take, they had to go to London.
The British Empire.
The British Empire to go and report, this is what we are doing. Even today, the Queen still owns our land. That is why, Tina, we are looked at as these, silly radicals who want to remove comfort yabantu, and the benefits of this system. The system, Tina, we want to destroy it. Ipuge, because bongamelanga le system ngabi ya exista. Even today, in 94, bokumele iphihizwe yonke lento siqale kabusha.
Sibuyele
ebukhosini bethu, and of course there's nothing wrong, of course. Remember
but of course busemva man.
Abusemva kanjani? Ubusemva yibo abaletha civilization umkhosi la. I-civilization throughout the whole world.
Yes.
Ilethwa amakhosi ase-Africa. When you talk about science, you talk about mathematics, you talk about the civilization in general, you talk about medicine. Amakhosi ase-Africa who are responsible, who can claim, ukuthi yithi u-ushered in, that thing. So, yingakho umlungu says to you, remember ukuthi uQueen discourages all presidents on the continent to adopt structure esifana nesakhe. Britain irulwa ubukhosi.
Yes.
The Queen on top. Then bese Prime Minister la.
Right, Prime Minister.
Yes.
The Chancellor.
Why I encourage that thing to happen on the continent?
Yeah, because if you think about it, ubukhosi buse khona Great Britain, kodwa ubukhosi base Africa bucekelwa phansi esikhathini esiningi.
Kungani? It's because of always the conqueror. dictates, the terms. Therefore, mina ningenzi the way mina ngenza ngakhona, yenzani mina the way ngithi nenze ngakhona, which is why it brings so much anger. La ngaphakathi mina, when I think about such things, ukuthi all along all these years, sithi sikhululekile as the continent, besibhuqwa. We're just being sold an illusion. Akuna freedom on the continent here. Abelungu are still in control. Nanamhlanje. Hamba lapha e-Richards Bay. Ubona ama-resources and minerals that live e-Richards Bay. Eshiya abantu baseNatal bahlupheka. Nanamhlanje. Yingakho kumele silwele ukuthi sibhidlize le system so that we are able to go back to our tried and tested governing system.
I would presume the likes of Babu Credo Mutwa who taught you in essence.
Oh no,
all of these things.
Oh no, sure. Ubab Credo Mutwa, uyeke manje uFarakan uvuse something in terms of removing the fear.
Ukususa inkungu
ukuthi if uyibona injustice, something unjust being perpetuated towards you, you need to rise against that. It doesn't matter ukuthi ubani.
I think that's why you can see all of his students, or let me say Bab Elijah Muhammad, all of his students are just fearless, all the way down to the Malcolm X's, the Dr. Khalid Muhammad. Khalid was an amazing, very brave scholar as well, very sharp. Also a student of Ubab Farrakhan, Farrakhan, all the way leading up to now. If you look at a lot of the Nation of Islam students, they are very fearless.
Yes. So this is what he instilled in us, Farrakhan. But umuntu osinikeze the spiritual and scientific basis, of impilo yethu.
Osiniki Sankofa.
Oh man. Ubab Credo. Akekho munye because we never thought we can articulate science. We thought ukuthi yonke perception yethu is backwards. When they come and say there's God, there's this and that, then bakufaka ku science yabo yonke lento, uyabona nje ukuthi hey labantu baze bahlakanipha. Kepha mina ngizibuza ukuthi mesithi mvele nqangi sithini. I never knew the importance of that. Just that word, mveli nqangi, is science.
Mveli nqangi.
The first cause.
Yes.
Before any other creation was there. And ikhuluma ngani about the first atom. Akhulunywa ngomuntu wenyama. The first atom that started creation, in our solar system.
Ukhona atom nalapha ekhema.
Yebo angithi iqale lapho okhokho bethu ekhema bathi atom. Abelungu bathi atom. Bayitshontsha futhi bathi atom. But it's the same thing. You try to understand. So Babu Credo then gave us that foundation. And Ubabu Credo usinikeza le foundation ukuthi kunentshisakalo amongst us already to want to learn more about who we are. So Ubabu Credo waletha ke leso skhiya and savuleka khehla. Awusavuleka kwavuleka amasango, it's like umoya nje walokho uletha izinto uzwa ke
ventilation.
You won't believe a collection of books that I have. Ngithole spiritual. I would get this book. Mengifunda lencwadi kube nento ukuthi man, there's more.
Ake ngiyofuna.
Mengibuyela bookshop, the first book engizoyithola izongithatha from la ETP.
Yes.
Le ETP ETC. Kanjalo, that's how I collected my books. Ukuze ngithole this comprehensive picture about the politics, the spirituality, yonke lento le. That's how I collected my books. And of course,
Of And of course, we're talking on the great Babu Credo Mutwa. Nami ngamfuna ngaze ngamthola lapha eHenops River.
Thokoza.
Sake sathi ukuhlala. La hamba ikhehla la yale eNorthern Cape. Ngasala ngedwa ke ngabona ukuthi kumele ngifune umuntu. Ngafuna Mkhul'Nsingiza.
That's how it happened.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
Yes.
You know, ngafuna Mkhul'Nsingiza. Ngithe mangihlangana noMkhul'Nsingiza ngathola ukuthi naye ukhablile lapha. Futhi ukhabule kakhulu lapha kukhokho.
When at that time we were young, you feature Coco Credo Moto on Y Magazine.
Yes, it was on Y Magazine.
You were the Y editor.
Where we had, I think, a 4-page spread interview.
We are young, Tina. At that time, you introduced us to Indaba, My Children.
I had to.
This is almost 20 years ago.
I had to because I could sense Uguti, the impact thereof Babu Credo is going to have to be known now. So that we can move on in progression. If ihambe ngama generation. So I did bite the bullet and I said I had to, and I fought for it in editorial, when sitting, with others to say, we need to do, a spread or two. Babu Credo Moto. Samfuna ke saze samthola eHenops. And we had time.
Because he was also very sidelined by the system.
Oh yeah, he was. I mean,
He was. Anybody that speaks against the system. Remember, Babu Credo lamented the fact that we are in a new dispensation 194.
Yeah.
Babu Credo wakala ngokuthi sishaywa kabili induku eyodwa.
Kodwa izagila zishaka ithuqa.
Yebo, it means ukuthi as much as Tina were excited about yonke lento Babu Credo wathi whatever yenzakalayo it's going nowhere. Kahle you are being shortchanged as abantu abamnyama. Ayikho yonke lento le labantu abayisayinela. Wayibona then Babu Credo. Washo nje ukuthi hayi no bazongena labantu kepha nothing will change for umuntu omnyama. And namhlanje kusenjalo. Umhlaba wasekhaya eMangwaneni awukabuki kithi.
Isettle didibizaba.
No, ivalelekile lapha. Namhlanje we are still in that a struggle ukuthi sikhulule konke komangwane. Do you understand?
Kubuyele
emangwaneni because we believe ukuthi a system that should be implemented throughout the whole country. Ile system practiced balotegi. Those royal people from Emafikeng.
Abakwena abafukeng abakhatla kanjalo.
Bona labo le Northwest.
Platinum Belt.
Yes. Those people, they own indawo yabo. Indawo yabo inama minerals. Therefore, it benefits them. Every year, they receive billions out of the resources of their own places. Labantu laba abadingi government for them to sustain the community yabo because they have got enough resources. So that should be the model for the whole country. Ukuthi wherever kunobukhosi, lobu bukhosi must be empowered by umhlaba wabo and the resources that under whatever is found there. Let the people kunamanzi kunomhlaba. Into besiyayikhuluma nje nondaba ezitha ukuthi the first thing okumele yenziwe once yonke into seyistabilizekile lapha ekhaya kumele siqale ngeagriculture a revolution. Wonke umuntu akumelanga kube nomhlaba ohleli idling. iBlackville yonke leya must be a commercial farm. Once sesiphethe lokho, because we'll be employing almost everybody walapha elentuzeni.
The soil is fertile,
very fertile.
Yeah.
Amanzi enwaphuzayo la eGauteng avela leBlackville. Because kunomzila owaletha la eGauteng, and abantu baseBlackville abatholi lutho. iEscom iphehla ugesi le. Abantu baseBlackville abatholi lutho. So we are born ukuthi le system is disadvantaging umuntu omnyama, and who benefits abelungu nohulumeni. These are the two structures that are benefiting you know, thina singabantu basemangwane undaba ezitha benginayo izolo. If ungambona, we are on the same boat. Lo muntu lawyer in terms of farmer resources and assets under, you know, his control. Yeah. He's a billionaire, but he's being deprived by our own people. You know, the funniest thing that, you know, he told me, Ugochi, beke khuluma nomnyango, i-department ephethe amakhosi lapha, umnyango, bawubizani, le department kaNkosazana.
Traditional affairs?
Yes, in Nkosazana Zuma.
Cocta, yes.
Beke khuluma na somebody very high lapha eCocta. Meke buza kule nkulumo yabo. Undaba ezitha uyambuza ukuthi angitshele la. If nganimukisa ecourt ukuze ngilungise lento yalapha ekhaya. Nizowina na. Yazi bathini kuye? Bathi hayi, sazi kahle ukuthi ngeke siwine. Siqhubeka ngalendlela ngoba siyazi ukuthi awunamali, you won't take us to court. Umuntu omnyama loyo otshela inkosi leyo nto leyo ukuthi mina I'm doing what I'm doing to deprive you because I know that you don't have enough resources to take us to court. Then those people should be representing us. So, ubhlungu nje that we go through singabantu abamnyama akusasomlungu these days. Our own people are our worst enemies. How do you say that to a king?
Digressa kancane, over the past weeks we've heard a lot of back and forth in the KZN Zulu Kingdom.
Sure.
Yeah.
What really is the rightful way of how one becomes a king? And who is the actual rightful king? I understand it's out there, it's Undabezita King Mkhul'Nsingiza, but we also have heard of some remarks from I think Prince Smagate. What is it according to your understanding?
According to my understanding, you know, ubukhosi bonke ngathi nasekhaya self ipolitiki ingene shiqe ngoba inkosi kumele kulandelwe umoya ukubonakala ukuthi uhleli kuphi amongst wonke ama-prince. Do you understand?
Sokhuluma ngamazinyana
enkosi. Do you understand? Yinto bokumele ngabe inkosi meyikhothama kungabi abalokho bascratch amakhanda. Indlunkulu kumele yazi ukuthi nangu umuntu from ebuntwaneni bakhe indlela ayiphatha ngayo izinto azenzayo naya. You know, umoya uhleli lapha manje ke la ebukhosini generally kunalento ukuthiwa indlunkulu unkosikazi lo lotsholelwe isizwe uye ozokhipha inkosana ezobusa. But manje kushayisana nomoya lokho ngoba ungazalwa kulowo muzi kepha if umoya ungekho phezulu kwekhanda lakho ayikho vele into ozoyenza. Do you understand? So it means ukuthi bureaucracy that is so static.
Right.
Okumele ishintshwe. We need to go back. Sankofa, adopt the Sankofa spirit. Sibuyele the way okhokho bethu used to do. Ngoba inkosi uyayibona. Isakhula nje ukuthi nayi nangu lo muntu lo. Enye into wena kho uzothola ukuthi kunezindlu eziyi5 mhlambi esigodlweni amakhosikazi wonke la
khona amazinyana
enkosi kunamazinyane wonke inkosi ngokwomoya la sibona khona sonke siyindlunkulu ihleli kulengane yendlu yesithathu. But now because of ipolitiki hayi ngeke sizoinyathela lento bese ke sifaka lo ngoba umthetho wala esivumelene ngayo ukuthi inkosi yophuma kulomuzi. You can't dictate umoya uhlala la kumele uhlale khona. Yingakho sithi sibona ngezenzo zomuntu. Uma umuntu eyinto ethize sibona ngezenzo zakhe. Hayi ukuthi uzutshele ukuthi hey wena uwe kumele wenze into enjengale.
Zinjani zenzo zakasibusisa?
So ihlahla.
No. Yabona usisi angekho uzumpithe because lento ayiyo natural.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Sikhuluma ngalento ke. Uyabona ke mokukhethwa inkosi. Kubhekwa izinto ezinjalo.
Iyaphuma le ndoda yothengisa lama cold drink ayi.
Injalo wena ke. So, umuntu oyinkosi akumelanga kuze ahlaliswe. Kumele sazi sibe nehistory yakhe kuthi hayi lo muntu lo even noma ekhula ubekhula nje surroundwe izingane waya nje la ekhona usurroundwe abantu lo muntu lo do you understand uphawu lesibonisa wena khehla because umoya will never lie to us kepha mesifaka ipolitiki esigodlweni then sesimisa that alignment with izulu. Because inkosi is supposed to represent umvelinqangi kuphi emhlabeni.
Yes.
Umoya kamvelinqangi mawudecide ukuhlala kulendlu yesithathu. Uphikisa kanjani wena lo moya? Yiyo ke into eyenza ukuthi ubukhosi bethu la eAfrica bube so messed up because akusase into yomoya. Even nasesigodlweni kunama competition based on ama resources ukuthi no makungena lo ngizodla. Therefore whether right or wrong lento isiyenzayo it means nothing, it has become political.
It becomes political.
Igodlo have been politicized. That is why we cannot rely on igodlo singabantu generally. Thina kumele sivuse lo moya from underground. Lo moya uzonyusa ama leaders of the future. Ukuthi naba abantu are supposed to lead Africa into the future.
Siyavusa ke lo moya nge-Great Empire of Kemet. Siyahamba siya inzalo yelanga, the Adam's calendar. Ukubaluleka kwenzalo yelanga and what is the African calendar as well. A lot of our audiences, abanye basha, they're starting to ask those questions. We are interested in and we are actually almost sold out. I'm so shocked that there's so many people out there who are so interested in what we're doing.
Encouraging, you know.
Very encouraging.
Very encouraging.
Kodwa mhlambe kuyicacisa ngesilungu noma mhlambe ngesintu in simple terms. What is ukubaluleka kwenzalo yelanga and what is the African calendar?
Okay, firstly, asicorrect le gama lelika Adam's calendar. It has become a popular name, but that is not a Adam's calendar. Umazisakazi, you know, according to Bab Credo. And umazisakazi lo lapha kapse wop. It is the oldest stone calendar in the world and the holiest place on the continent, according to Babu Credo, because he says, kunelenduza, kunani bayibizani lento le, you know, when you do space travel.
A portal.
A portal. It is a portal, that place, you know, for all Africans. You know, mesikhuluma ngeportal, kusuke kuhamba umoya wakho kesh. Umoya wako, when you are there, you are then able to do that astral travel. But asikafiki lapho ngoba isikhathi sakhona siyasondela kepha asikafiki, whereby those that you know balengulubeni in the Orion belt are able to land there. Ubab Credo says the people who live in the stars of the Orion, they landed, you know, when they came from there, they landed there. This is where those that are here on earth are able to communicate with them. So it is a portal. You know, okumele sinakekele. It is the holiest place on the continent.
And we can gain energy from it, isn't it?
The energy yakhona, remember, it's even better ne energy yabo Mecca, ne energy yase Israel. Why? Because it's along the electromagnetic field of earth. So kula umoya, when you talk about the energy vortex, that is what inzalo is. But now siyayikhuluma nje lento thina asinama resources. If the president you know Gwayena himself doesn't know about that side and doesn't know about the African calendar, what more an ordinary person? What is the role of a father? A role of a father is to teach the children. So therefore, ignorance yabaholi bethu yiyo esenza ukuthi kube nale confusion abantu balokho babuza yini ngoba into bokumele lo msebenzi esiwenzayo umsebenzi kagovernment kahle to teach about all these things. But now sesiyawenza thina because abawufuna ukwenza hayi ukuthi abazi about this calendar. They know right from at the top.
Ngoba cishe kuseduze 24th of September is Heritage Day. Now you look at that
it's just a day,
calendar, the African calendar. The 23rd is the African New Year. So
just a day.
Cishe kwabanjalo. So uyabona ukuthi khona abakwaziyo kodwa ke why do they not align it to the correct way of
umlungu uthe
right?
Umlungu uthe asingayibizi nge-African New Year asithi heritage so that it embraces everybody. Do you understand? Ilento le of being you wonke for everybody, and whilst you are disadvantaging the majority of the people, when all throughout the whole year, China yaqhumisa, i-president iqhumisa nabo, India yaqhumisa, i-president iqhumisa nabo, everybody yaqhumisa, president is there. But when it comes to the real African New Year, president is not there.
President.
Akekho believe kulento and the reality uyabona in nature confirms ukuthi everything starts greening, you can see, but because umlungu uthe therefore I'm not supporting this thing. Yingakho it's upon us. Lento kuluthi siloko si-complaina ngalabantu who are still locked up in that colonial mindset. It won't help us.
Kwaze wadabukisa kodwa mkhulu.
Ladabukisa ibhlungu yikho ngithi into yenziwa kumuntu omnyama ibhlungu kabi. If boku ama-China e-South Africa kwenzakala lokhu kubo, no, bengeke yenzakale leyo nto leyo. But manje, this is our own country. I-conscience kuphi? When you hear cricket just during the year, mawubuza hayi labantu celebrating their new year. Uthini wena?
Diwali. Amandiya ya celebrate Diwali. Hayi ama-China uthole lapha ko Kensington ko Bedford View akuyaqhuma. Hayi ama-China in yabo, it's the year of the dragon.
Yebo.
Thina
asinalutho in our own country. So usizi lo muntu omnyama kwayona le December iFhong Kong because it doesn't correlate in the nature. You can't start the year when everything has matured. Remember ukuthi December is the month of maturity. Uzibandlela utshani sebungaka. You can't see the pathways.
Manje September ke manje so uyabona
yonke into iqala ibahlaza. This is the time, this is the real time of the African New Year.
Where do we get this information for our young people? Where do we get this information for our young people?
It's within nature.
And I know that
nature dictates it, I guess. So
we're doing our bit to share, but it's also upon you guys out there to listen to these types of podcasts or these types of knowledge. This is only hardly an hour, but it's upon you to go do your own research.
Yeah.
But then where do they go? Because this information is erased everywhere else.
Yeah. It's not in university. University you want, because this is a Northwest University. They were talking about, the topic there was indigenous, astronomy, right? But manje into engibabuza yona ukuthi okay fine, we are doing this conference here about indigenous astronomy, but we are still using a calendar that is based on the northern hemisphere. All universities. So if foundation, remember, whoever dictates, determines your time, controls your mind.
Yes.
Therefore, all universities are feeding our children amanga. Why? Because they are basing everything on the wrong calendar. A calendar that all institutions of knowledge are using. It is a calendar that is based on the northern hemisphere. I'm a professor lapo. They know we are on the southern hemisphere. We're not supposed to be using that calendar. So what truth are you giving our children?
I guess Geez, I just got absent-minded. It's okay, continue. I'll remember my point.
This has been the House of Sankofa. We'll be back again with another ravishing episode where we talk culture, spirituality, music, and more.
I'm very honored to be with you here, and I'm looking forward to growing this baby. And seeing it develop a life of its own.
Exactly.
I know that now we're starting it on the Hustler's Corner.
Yes.
But just like we did the Virtual Mkhul'Nsingiza with Penuel, and the Virtual Mkhul'Nsingiza is developing a life of its own. And even Penuel in his own right as an individual is growing his own brand.
Beautiful.
And that's what I love. That's what I see this becoming. Developing a life of its own so that it also exists in its own platforms. But just for you agreeing to partner and do this and share the knowledge with our young people out there.
Very important. Bongamin. Mkhulu ngwane
Thakaza
bona abakhulu basekhaya
Thakaza
Your last words Mkhulu yazi nina niyabonana ku Radio 2000 ngeweekend.
Yes sir.
Mhlambe naso bavalelisa it's not the last.
Thokozani Makhehla, you know, Africa ilinde thina to fix it.
Yes.
Singayiyekeleli, it doesn't matter ukuthi ama challenges angakanani. Mesingabambana, black unity will be able to actually fix all the problems that we have. Thokozani.
Let's go back and retrieve.
Thokozani.